Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and I have something that should hopefully interest you today. Basically, if you haven't seen enough of this already, this is the update that just happened in order to basically modify how all dinosaurs in Ark take damage. Now, I'm going to show you what that means, how it changes, how do you actually deal with this, and the important stuff that you need to know. So if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. I'm getting close to 100K, and that's been my dream all along. So that's my plug. And outside of that, let's just get you some stats here, right? So beforehand, what happened is when you were attacking a dinosaur, no matter where you hit the dinosaur, physically hit the dinosaur, it took the exact same damage. Foot, head, tail, middle, body, whatever it was. Some dinosaurs took decreased damage based upon shooting them with the weapon. However, melee was consistent across the board. So what has changed? So basically, they have taken the dinosaur numbers from shooting range and they have changed it so that way whenever you hit a dinosaur, it also reflects the damage that you hit them with in their location that's the corresponding to that. For example, right, on a Triceratops has a reduced damage from the front. So you can see 86 versus a total of 13. So that's about 7 times damage drop, right? Now that means not only does my sword do reduced damage, so if I was to bite this thing right there, right, it's going to do 86 and then 13. Now, the crazy thing is that also applies to any damage you do with a tame. So if I come up and attack this thing from the front side, it's going to do 23 damage and that's it. Now, if I go to the normal way and like the old school way where I was just attacking it, I'm going to do 155. So basically, this is going to totally change both PvE and PvP because in regards to where you hit something, it's going to be a massive difference. If someone's able to keep their Triceratops head facing towards you, they're going to take way less damage and be able to probably offset the damage that you're doing, right? Now, you can compensate this by getting over the back and kind of chewing on the back of it, but if you're just able to hit the head and that's the only spot you can hit, melee is going to cause you major problems. Now, there are a couple of different factors that you need to be aware of when it comes to this. Obviously, we have the Triceratops, right? You can see that I'm able to smack that thing. But things that really suffer from this are things like the Stego, right? So the Stego takes 80 damage right there, takes 80 damage right there. So you can see that if I hit the Stego on the side, it's going to take 44 there, it's going to take 44 there. However, the Stego has always had a problem that if you hit it in the head, it's basically double the damage, right? Now that applies, and it makes Stegos a little bit less useful. They're still going to be the major thing to use, but basically that means that if you're pushing someone with a Giga or a Rex or something like that, biting at their head is kind of the best way to go about it, right? So that's a major difference. Now, if I was to go in and attack the spikes, it still doesn't change it. It's 44, 44. So pretty much the Stego is the only one that's going to be kind of wonky, even though you've got all this side action available. It just takes the increased damage to the head. Now, it doesn't seem to take increased damage to the legs either, so that's kind of just how it is. Now, the Packy Rhino, another one of those, right? You can see 222 damage to the head. However, I'm doing 89 damage to the side. So it takes reduced damage to the head, not as much as the Triceratops, though, however. And the reason being is if there's it would take 22 to the head, the Trike would, if there was not a Rex nearby. But yeah, so this is going to be a big deal for attacking things, and even things like the Carbonemus, right? So 17 damage to its shell, 89 to a leg, 89 to the head, and then the same thing can be said for the actual butt. Oh, I thought it was, no, they reduced the damage because that counts as partial armor now. Cool. So anyways, legs and then heads for Carbonemus are basically going to be huge because people's plan right now in PvP is to launch a never-ending supply of Carbonemus at you, and if you can go out there with a Giga or a Rex and actually start chomping on them without the increased and reduced damage, that's going to make a major difference. So if I can sit here, see how I'm able to hit the head pretty easily. It's also one of those ones where if I stand over the top of it, it'll actually do less damage. So you kind of want to aim for that headshot, right? And also you can see the knockback is a pretty big thing right now. So knockback is, yeah, that's awesome. So anyways, how does it affect other tames, right? Because it's not just the armored tames that took a hit. It's also anything that has a increased headshot damage, right? So like a direwolf. Direwolf's going to take 89 to the side, and you can see that it's going to take that increased damage to the head. So any tame in the game that takes increased headshot damage, right, is going to take increased melee damage. Now the reason that's a really big deal is, let's say someone's got like a Pteranodon and they're trying to pick you, and with a Rex you start to bite them. Pteranodons have to lead with their head, so they're going to take heavily increased damage to their headshots, which is kind of wild if you think about it, right? So if I was to go attack a Rex with like a direwolf, for example, right, because there's something that takes the increased damage to the head. Saber-tooth tiger, Pteranodon, Argentavis, pretty much all of the flyers have increased headshot damage. All of them are now going to have that increased damage that they're going to take to the head as well, which is a big deal. It makes a big change in my opinion. You can see that if I go over the top of this one, it's going to keep doing that same headshot damage. But for a dino that doesn't have anything, for example, like a Rex, right? Rex, body shot, 89, tail shot, 89, headshot, 89. So if the creature in the past did not take increased headshot damage, it no longer takes increased melee damage either. So basically it just carried over. It made the any, I guess, shot with a rifle or a turret that it took, it would take that damage and apply it to the melee range. So it's not like I'm going to be able to do more or less damage based upon creatures that weren't able to take it in the past, right? So this is a big update. There are lots of changes that it is going to change, anything from PvP purposes to PvE purposes, because now you can actually aim to hit things in certain regions, which might be a little bit, I mean, I think there's going to be a little bit of a skill factor that gets involved with this stuff, but that's my personal opinion. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you out, and if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, Teach out.